Alright, so today I'm going to be doing a Summon Showcase review and overview of the version update. There were a few things that got announced, but none of it is particularly big. Starting with the Summon Showcase, it's going to be a dragon special that starts at reset tonight. There's no new dragons, and the Valentine's units are not featured on this. So if you're trying to get the Valentine's units, you should still pull on the regular Valentine's banner. Though all of these dragons are fairly useful. Apollo is amazing on Zanya and Yuden, as well as other fire adventurers. Really, he's viable on any team that's going to be very burn dependent. For example, like Agito, you can keep him burned almost the entire fight. So, Wind Agito, so Bulk. In Bulk's Wrath, you can keep Bulk burned almost the entire fight. In HMS, you can have fairly solid burn uptime too, especially if you have a Zanya on your team. I know that Apollo is Zanya's preferred dragon, and he's very, very good on Yuden, though a lot of people are running Dread King Raklos on Yuden now, because the 4-strike damage is amazing on swords. But if you don't have Dread King since he's limited and gone now, Apollo is a very solid choice. I prefer Apollo over Konohana. So I know that's preference. Some people prefer to run Konohana. The only exception is Naveed. Naveed definitely does better with Konohana than he does with Apollo. Naveed also doesn't have inherent burn, but he does have very good skill damage. Apollo also has good dragon mods as far as his damage goes, and his skill is very similar to Cerberus. It inflicts burn and debuffs the enemy's defense by 5%. That 5% doesn't seem like a lot, but it benefits the entire team, so it's solid. Siren, I have a weak spot for her. I think that her design is adorable. I love running her, but she doesn't really have like a defined spot in the meta now. Cerise is going to prefer Dragon Yoshan. Gala Alisane will prefer Leviathan or Halloween Murdemus. If you're the healer, Jamzia, you really should be running Halloween Murdemus. If you want to run Leviathan, you can, but with the new time limit, I always feel like running Halloween Murdemus on your Jamzia is the ideal option. You're not going to time out, and you will prevent a wipe by having extra heals and just better defense overall. But that's just my preference. Some people prefer speed clears, and that's totally okay. Her skill isn't amazing. She doesn't energize the team, which sucks. She only increases the user's next skill damage by 40%. But on Lily, that 40% can be a decent nuke. If Lily gets a Mana Spiral with water, she's a fairly, she's close to an OG adventurer. She's really the second Summon Showcase ever. So she's very likely to get one, and Siren on 70 node Lily would be probably ridiculous. Skill damage is always great. Shinobi is amazing. He's the best dragon on Glio. A lot of people still think of him as the definitive dragon. I kind of like Epimetheus a little bit more, but that's just because I love running the poison comp, and I feel like if you have consistent poison damage and poison uptime, especially on 70 node adventurers, since they have the inherent increase to their regular attacks, that Epimetheus can do really, really good. That's my opinion. I know a lot of the simulators show Shinobi doing better, but that also implies having that's damage in a vacuum. You have to have perfect rotations to optimize Shinobi because you need to be firing off skills as rapidly as possible. And given that there's no real solid bow unit in Dark that you want to use, Adis is alright, Nefaria is unfortunately not the greatest. Maybe she'll get a spiral and that'll fix it, but she's not. And Norwin doesn't really have any particular place that he fits in either. So it's really down to keeping really solid rotations to have good skill uptime for Shadow. So if you're confident in your playstyle and you know what you're doing, Shinobi is a great fit. But if you are going to be a little bit more prone to error, Shinobi might not be the best option for you. Not shading anyone, he's situational. Great in a vacuum, but in execution, not always perfect. Chapter 12 is coming soon. The video looked really, really cool. At the end of this, I might swap over to the video and go over it. As far as trailer reviews, I mean, you've all seen it if you're going to this video, so we don't actually need to do that. It looks like it's going to be really cool. Leonidas is, I think, like Leonidas. Looks incredibly cool. Maybe he'll have a change of heart and join us. Maybe we'll get Mars. Mars, if you've seen the artwork for him, looks absolutely insane. A much cooler, what Agni should have been, a much, much cooler Agni. And Fire could use some new cool dragons. Really, it's dominated by Apollo and Konohana. And now Dread King Rathalos, but having like a new solid dragon in the permanent pool, or like a really, really cool free-to-play dragon, even if you don't get him until like, say, beating very hard mode of this chapter, would be really, really nice. So for the version update, it's all quality of life stuff, but we do get a free tenfold voucher, so if you're really, really like hunting for those Valentine's units, I would like highly recommend going for Valentine's Melody. She is great. Otherwise, save it. You don't know what's coming up in the future. Gala should be coming soon. The Gala might end up overlapping with the 6-month anniversary, because that's next month, and next month is 2 weeks away? 2 weeks away. So there's going to be some cool stuff coming down the line. Note that with the story, that's a lot of Warmight, because we're going to have the Endeavors from the Chimera, because they always give us Void Endeavors, and that's about 1 to 2 tenfold worth of Warmight from those Endeavors. The story, you're going to have all of the chapters, all of the like little mini chapters within chapter 12 in both normal, hard, and very hard mode. So that's a sizable amount of Warmight also. So keep that in mind. If you will have some resources coming in. I know right now we're in the Warmight crisis, but there's more resources incoming. Being able to choose when you're going to use your weekly boxes is amazing. Oh, I skipped over the first one. Being able to set autoplay from the menu. We already are able to set auto repeat and the number of times you're auto repeating, but setting the auto speed and also the ability to autoplay. It'll help in Mercurial Gauntlet. Sometimes you like end up going in and wasting helper, or like changing the settings and giving up because it throws off your rotations. If you had it on auto repeat or some auto functions for an earlier quest, just useful for MG. But really, once you've cleared MG, you're not going back too often, so it's not a super pressing feature. Less menu time. You can kind of doggle between menus because they're going to give us these neat little icons that'll be the top of the screen. You can just jump between all of the endeavors that not all of the endeavors, all the quests you need to do for your daily endeavors, which is nice. IO, I really want to see get some kind of like new perk to it. Once you've maxed out your facilities, there's not much like driving you to do IO anymore. Double drops constantly in at least one of them is very, very nice, but we needed that back before expert HDTs, when we were still making like the core weapons. I'm hoping for like a new level of IO, because we do need like really cool wave content. Everything's just solo boss battles as far as endgame goes now. Like a new high level of IO would be amazing. My thought would be having us fight the siblings, since they've all defected and they all represent at least one of the elements. It'd be really fun to have like a battle with each of the siblings. That would be amazing. There's also like the possibility of just raising the difficulty level and using that material to enhance our facilities to level 40, 45, or even 50. That nice boost would help. It would definitely help players who are having trouble breaking into Master. Just because might gating is still happening in Master, the mentor system has really alleviated the issue as far as expert goes, but might gating is still an issue in Master, and for a reason at times. Some Masters you're trying to do speedruns, like Jupiter, you really do need to have a certain like DPS requirement. Brunhilde, it's more open, Zodiac, it's more open, but people just are trying to get reliable clears. But if everyone at every level with a tier 1 even is able to have that like reliable DPS and that reliable like level of strength, it'll make it much easier to just get through those fights and to have people catch up. I really think that the way to go with that is just to increase facility level. So hopefully, them making all these quality of life improvements, they'll see a need to improve some of the older modes. Avenue of Power, Avenue of Fortune could use an upgrade too. You know, we're not rupee poor anymore, but these weapons, augments, all of this, it's expensive to move around. Ruins, a new level that gives us the higher level orbs would be amazing, because grinding Void Nidhogg, even though the new Chimera is gonna fix that, you don't have to grind Void Nidhogg for those orbs anymore. Still, just being able to do it through the elemental ruins would just make things so much simpler. It would also help weaker players catch up. Having to waste your wing on a Void battle is just annoying, and being able to do elemental ruins to get those orbs would help newer players catch up so much quicker. Really, like, I've been playing since day one, basically, and it would just be great to see some of the newer players have an easier road to catch up, because it does cause some people to, like, disgruntingly, like, either put the game on the back burner or quit it, just because there is such a high entrance requirement still. Dragon Trials, the high Dragon Trials basically cover that one, so we don't need much more there. Better drop rates would be great for them, because sometimes it takes a while to get those scales if you've just upgraded some adventurers. Treasure Trade being available on the screen, it's great. Sometimes you just want to check, see how much more you have to go, see what you need to do. It's just convenient, less like going through menus, because it is very menu heavy. Details for the High Dragon Trials. This is one of the features that I did very much like. Not every new player is going to want to like sit through tutorials and have to study the fight in that way, so having an ability to just check out what the fight's going to be like in-game, read about it, learn about it that way, and then kind of like learn through trial and error, but an informed trial and error, is very, very useful. I think it's going to make these fights much more accessible, and like I said, High Dragon Trial fight accessibility is still an issue. I made it through all of the masters except Mercury. She stresses me. I really am in a place where I can actively try and probably get through it. The stress just makes me not want to. And like I said, it's because it's so difficult to break into these fights sometimes. I know with the mana styles for wings that's eventually going to come out and with new units, she's going to become a joke soon enough. Like, Jupiter is a joke at this point. No one is really sweating Masters and Hilda that way, as far as like endgame players go. So, making these fights more accessible to newer players, and also making it so that they're no longer stressful for players who have been playing since the beginning. Agito's the new stress. Let it just be one stress at a time. Like, I'm all here for difficulty, even if these fights are made accessible. It still requires coordination, like really like on point play, and good rotations. No matter what, they're not going to ever become easy fights, but they should not be stressful. All of the other changes are very cosmetic, surface level changes. They're not huge. And with that, there's not much else to go over. Here's the Yvonne Chimera. The Chimeras are pretty smooth fights. Like, I don't have any tier 2 water weapons, I only have tier 1, but I was able to farm the Volcanic Chimera very, very easily on auto. So I know that the Yvonne Chimera isn't going to be any more difficult. Light does have slightly weaker adventurers, but really just build a balanced team. When he comes out, I might go over team recommendations for just auto farming him, because those Shadow Orbs are very valuable. And you're going to need material to make the Chimera weapons, so you can then make the Agito weapons. So I'll do that in upload maybe tomorrow or Thursday once this guy is out. And with that, that's all the content to go over. Bye.